Hey guys, and welcome back to Best Practice TV. In this episode of Ask Best Practice, we're answering the question, what is OHSAS or OHSAS 18001 and what's it mean for your business? Stay tuned. So thanks for joining us. What we're talking about today, or what we're answering today, is the question, what's 18001? We do get that question a lot here in the office at Best Practice. What 18001 is a standard. It's an international standard, but it was initially adopted as a British standard. So technically it's British Standard Occupational Health and Safety Assessment System, 18001. It was released in 2007. Now there is a small catch. It's soon on the horizon, probably in 2018, there'll be an international standard that will supersede it, ISO 45001, but that's for another video. Let's talk about 18001, get straight into it. What it is it's a management system for occupational health and safety, and it's designed to complement your quality management system, ISO 9001 type system, and your environmental management system to ISO 14001. So if you were to develop your management system with quality, and environment and safety, you'd have an integrated management system, which is quite an exciting opportunity. So what I'm going to do for you now is just quickly lay out some of the key categories in the cycle of continual improvement that lay out the 18001 management system structure. Now there's lots of stuff available on Wikipedia, so we'll pop a link to the 18001 article on Wikipedia, and you can start to knock out and do a little bit more research. But this is a quick, high-level introduction into what the standard is in terms of its structure and what you can use it to do. So the first thing, obviously, and we'll just go clause by clause through the standard, is to have an OH&S policy. So this policy is calling for three fundamental commitments. Obviously, a commitment to workplace safety and minimising incidents and accidents and injuries and making the workplace safer. A commitment to compliance with legal and other requirements, codes of practice, industry standards, and then a commitment to continual improvement. So we've got those three commitments. Don't forget those when you're writing your policy. Now the next part that comes after drafting, if you like, that policy is to start to think about your occupational health and safety planning processes. So do you have an occupational health and safety management plan for your organisation or for your site or for your project or for your business or for your global business? So what are the ways that you identify hazards and risks? So if you know about risk management, it's got this planning process. So what we're doing is we're planning. Now that is for normal operating conditions and also emergency conditions, and we can go into that in a little bit more in depth. Standard processes and emergency processes. So we've got planning. We need to consider obviously our processes. We need to consider our legal requirements, and we need to consider industry standards. Now that's not everything, obviously. There's a whole lot more to that planning process. We can talk about stuff that's happened in the past, incidents, accidents, audit results of audits, all that sort of stuff. But really quickly, we're talking about setting a policy, building out a plan, and we're doing, and I'm going to write an acronym, I apologise for that, but it's HIRAC, hazard identification. So hazard identification, risk assessment and control. Hazard identification, risk assessment and control. And that's part of this process. Now, what the standard jumps into now is talking about objectives and targets. That's a little bit tricky to do it in these steps, and I do find that people often have, there's a small part of their struggle in terms of building out their objectives and targets. Now I would jump, before I go into objectives and targets, across to this section over here, which is monitoring and measurement. And I like to call it, if you watch lots of our videos here at Best Practice, the dashboard or your scoreboard. Now what is that? I like to say it's lots of performance over time graphs. There's our graph tracking our performance. And the last one here might be something we want to reduce, our injuries and our incidents. That's our dashboard. So framing up the sorts of things that we might be monitoring and measuring, an initial look at it, then we can come across and we can say what are our objectives and targets. So there's a benchmark, for example, a red benchmark or a limit, an upper limit or a target point. Those are objectives and targets, if that makes sense. And it makes it really simple. What are we going to measure? Let's set ourselves a plan. Then what we can do is we can go back into what we call management review, which is sitting up here, and redraft our policy as an output. So that's our cycle of continual improvement. and we keep leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. Now there's obviously a bunch of other things that we can do in this process to understand what is ISO 18000 or OHSAS 18001. There's obviously a bunch of other things that we can do in this process to understand 18001, but ultimately it's about plan, do if you like, somewhere in here, check, and act. Now I might have some critics out there in the industry, but I'm just going to highlight them for you. We've got plan, do, check, and act. And that's really simply what 18001 is. It's a management system that has policy, planning, objectives and targets, monitoring and measurement, and then back up here to management review. Now when we do this plan, obviously we can do lots of things, like we can have procedures, we can have training, we can have communications, we can have emergency plans, we can have consultation. All those other headings are the standard. That's about writing all the stuff down. Ultimately, we've got our objectives and targets, and we've got our monitoring and measurement. And all this stuff here that we put into our plan sits just before here, but they're our controls. They're all the different ways that we're going to control this performance. And I have got an acronym for that. It's who, what, when, where, how. Why? Our commitments over here. So I hope that helps you. That's a really basic, quick summary on what is OHSAS 18001. I'll throw some links to some extra information that's over on our website. And if you want more of these great videos, if you want basic explanations about stuff that you need to comply with around ISO standards or management system standards and business improvement, we're really passionate here at Best Practice. It's part of our cause, part of our mission, to help you guys have really simple businesses that can follow really simple, basic processes to plan and do and check and act and track your performance so that you'll inspire customer confidence, inspire your staff, inspire your stakeholders in your business, so you'll have a great, sustainable, simple, profitable business into the future. Hit subscribe if you want more of our great videos and you want to see what we pop up on YouTube from time to time. Find me on LinkedIn at Kobe Simmet and send me a LinkedIn message or a LinkedIn request. I love the direct messages on LinkedIn. It's a good way for me to interact. Follow Best Practice on Twitter. A little bit of stuff there, not a huge amount, but definitely hit subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get more of our great simple videos. And if you want more of this, comment below this video. We monitor the comments and we'll shoot something for you. Give us a suggestion of what information you'd love to see, and I'll see you next time, Best Practice TV. Bye for now.